According to an article from GameSpot, XDefiant has been delayed again. In fact, this is the third time that this happened. Now, it has been delayed as the latest chapter of the game's long and bumpy road to release. In a social media post, Ubisoft said that it hoped to release XDefiant by the end of March, which that unfortunately didn't. And this article is March 29th of 2024. However, there's quote unquote still some improvements the studio has to make before it's ready. Right now, the focus is on the upcoming 12-hour stress test for the game servers, and Ubisoft is inviting its early access players to hop in and try to put the servers through the paces. And you can read the rest of it, and I'm not going to bore you all to death. The so-called Call of Duty killer has been delayed 3 times. Last summer, last October, which it should have been out 6 months ago, and they missed their golden opportunity to take away the Call of Duty players in last month. I wouldn't be surprised if it gets delayed again before this year is over. So I feel that Ubisoft need to worry less about this Call of Duty wannabe and worry more about the games that they have, like Rainbow Six and other games. Okay, put that money into good use instead of XDefiant. That's just how I feel. Dragon Dogma 2 from Capcom broke records on Steam, and it's an RPG game. And for what I've heard, it's pretty awesome. Unfortunately, microtransactions, and it got everybody in their feelings, aka they're ticked off. For me, it goes a little something like this: vote with your wallet, keep it moving. There's no point of whining, complaining, smashing your fist through a wall or flip tables. There's no point. Microtransactions are here to stay, whether people like it or not. It's your choice. I'm gonna keep it moving. Now, is PlayStation 5 Pro not worth it? I read articles somewhere that it was getting not so stellar reviews, and developers even questioned it. Why is it here? Why does it exist? I mean, the base console is just fine. I have at least 2 to 3 articles I got in the history. I'm gonna put the link in the description once I get done with this video. So for me, I don't have a PlayStation 5 yet. In fact, I'm looking at bundles, good deals, all that good stuff. If they have like Tekken 8 or Spider-Man 2 or Wolverine, I'm definitely going to jump on that deal. I'm not going to go out and buy just for the sake of buying like most people do nowadays. So what are your thoughts on the video game topics? Now let's move on to sports. Now we have college basketball's Final Four. I'm talking about the men. Do I think NC State have enough to beat Purdue Boilermakers to reach the Final Four? No, I don't. I think that Purdue's going to be too much for them. I think the battle between Zach Edey versus DJ Burns Jr., or I call him Escalade Jr., is going to be something special. I can't wait to see it, but I just don't believe that NC State is going to have enough. I'm looking at Purdue. They're not a team that is going to beat themselves. I see Purdue moving on to the national championship game. As far as Connecticut Huskies versus Alabama Crimson Tide, it's a complete team versus an offensive team, let alone a team that is dependent on three-point shooting. They got to catch the UConn Huskies in a bad day. A really, really bad game. And they got to be scorching hot. I'm talking about Alabama. I don't think it's going to happen. I think UConn is on a mission to go back-to-back champions. So we're going to end up seeing UConn Huskies versus Purdue Boilermakers, Big East versus Big Ten, 2 conferences I cannot stand, don't give 1 ounce of a damn about. Both of them are overrated. Well, then again, Big Ten is more overrated than Big East nowadays. So I just see Connecticut Huskies being too much for Purdue, and they go back-to-back champs. That's how I see it. Now, as far as women's, we only got 1 match already set for the Final Four in Cleveland, Ohio, which is a women's NC State Wolfpack taking on the South Carolina Gamecocks. Oh my goodness. I got South Carolina all the way. So that's how I feel. And the Elite Eight is going to be on tonight between last year's national championship rematch, LSU Tigers, who are defending national champions, take on the Iowa Hawkeyes. So my little brother has Iowa Hawkeyes winning the whole thing. I'm talking about retro. So yeah, it's going to be Iowa versus trying to figure out who USC Lady Trojan, and it's going to be South Carolina scoring off against USC, and I think South Carolina is going to win the whole thing. That's how I feel. So now, as far as the Carolina Panthers news, they made some moves, some trades, and signings. I think the two biggest ones were Dante Johnson through a trade from Pittsburgh Steelers and a draft pick to Carolina for Dante Jackson and a draft pick, and Jadeveon Clowney got a 2-year, was it 24 or $20 million contract or something like that. So which Jadeveon Clowney are you going to get? Texans, the Baltimore Ravens type of player, or you're going to get the Cleveland Browns where he was, distraction and all the negativity and the controversy surrounding. So it'll be interesting to see how it plays out. Now, as far as NBA playoffs, it begin April 16th through 19th, which is the play-in. The first round is on Marijuana Day, April 20th. So that's the first round of the East and Western Conference. So we got to wait and see how it shapes out after the play-in is concluded on the 19th. So with that in mind, throwing y'all salute. What's your thoughts on these topics, video games and sports? Have a good night.